Hello, John. Can you tell us what's the difference or what separates the Christian and Jobs Action Party from all the other political parties that are in the political arena?
Well, the first thing that's different about it is its name. It's the Christian and Jobs Action Party. Both are, the Christian part and the Jobs part are central to the philosophy of this party. The Christian part of the name came into being because of the abdication of the political parties in Dáil Éireann when the recent referendum took place to change the wording of the Constitution and the meaning of the word marriage as between a man and a woman to now mean the same as between two men or two women, or a bisexual person or a transgender person, or something of that nature. That's how the party came into being on the Christian front. Also, it was self-evident because of the closure by this Fine Gael government, Fine Gael Labour government, of the Irish Embassy to the Vatican, which was established in 1929 when money would have been very tight and scarce in the country. This was regarded as a very important embassy, aside altogether from the Catholic majority of the people that would have wished for such a thing. It was a very influential and far-reaching appointment. Now, the fact that this government, without putting it in their manifesto prior to the last general election, Mr. Gilmore, the foreign minister, closed the Irish Embassy to the Vatican without any reference to the people that voted them in. This was subsequent to the attack on the Vatican and the Catholic faith, by implication, by the leader of Fine Gael, Mr. Enda Kenny, when he attacked the Vatican and in Irish Catholics and Catholics throughout the world, by implication, after the Klein report. This got great support and from the media. Most people of goodwill were appalled at his language, his intemperate language at the time. Now, this then, as I say, led to Mr. Gilmore closing the Irish Embassy to the Vatican. There again, the media had nothing to say about it. The only objections were raised by individuals like myself and also some Christian magazines and people that may not have been Christian at all, that didn't see the sense to doing taking such a step, considering that Britain and other countries regarded the Vatican and their embassies to the Holy See as very important and far-reaching, and found it a great help, whereas this country showed its lack of faith, if you like, in this important embassy. The Allied magazine, which is a magazine primarily distributed in Catholic churches, but also in certain news agents, in their March issue, they described this Fine Gael Labour government as the most anti-Christian and totalitarian government in the history of the state. That was a far-reaching statement to make. They also said that Fianna Fáil under Micheál Martin was not much better. So they were indicted because of their failure to have a debate in the Dáil Éireann on this important and potentially divisive matter of this same-sex referendum. So these are the matters that contributed to the establishment of the Christian and Jobs Action Party. Now we come to the jobs part, which is just as important in some ways as the Christian, because without a job, Irish people tend not to have the full development of their worth. Pope Francis emphasises this, as has previous popes, the importance of work and the development of the human person in the work environment. On that subject, this government and previous governments have been woefully neglectful. You've only got to look at the towns and villages throughout the country and their decline. The amount of family businesses that have closed over the years since this preoccupation with the development of the monopoly situation that obtains now in the grocery trade and in the allied trades. There is no doubt to anybody with eyes to see that in the towns and villages, and indeed in the farmer community, that opportunities and hope are very scarce commodities. Jobs have been lost in traditional food companies since the foundation of the state. Since the advance of the monopoly situation, where 90% of the food trade and quite a substantial amount of the drapery and electrical trades are now confined to these monopolies, to the detriment of the said towns and villages and family businesses that were the backbone down the years and offered good value and competitive prices. Now that the situation is as it is, there are steps that need to be taken. One of the first things that also contributed to the decline of family business throughout the country was, if you like, the abolition of the below-cost grocery order, which was introduced by Micheál Martin when he was Minister for Fianna Fáil in a Fianna Fáil government. This was against the advice of all concerned and all people of goodwill. This has resulted in the below-cost selling of many food items in the monopoly situation that exists, and also in the below-cost selling of alcohol, thus affecting the rural pub, which was a focus of people having a chat in the olden times for perhaps an hour or two. All these family businesses have closed. So the jobs focus of this party is to give voice to the voiceless. In other words, create an environment where sustainable jobs can be created. I'm talking here about the jobs particularly in the retail trade that have been lost in these towns and villages. Let Enterprise Ireland, which has a big budget, devote a good portion of that budget to start up businesses in the retail and wholesale trade, both food and other areas, and also small food manufacturers. This is where this country has its strength. We don't want to ever see again the closure of businesses like Jacobs, which were here for 100 years, the closure of Lamb Brothers Jams, which were here for years and having orchards and giving seasonal work to people. Also the closure of Bo Peep Jams, which was made in Drumcambo, County Leitrim. An awful lot of other companies have closed down. These are some that I know of, including Clover Meats, which employed nearly 1,000 people and which I worked in during my career. All these jobs have been lost and nothing has replaced them. People need jobs in businesses that can be here for the long term. not foreign companies coming in here today and gone tomorrow. We need sustainable jobs in manufacturing, in the food trade particularly, and allied trades. And a bit of support for our friends that have now no hope. The Christian and Jobs Action Party is here to give hope to people.
Well, thank you very much for that, John, and thank you for coming in and explaining the views of the party.
I hope I've outlined some bit of details. There's a lot of detail to be worked out, but the broad thrust of our party is to focus on Irish people and to try and endeavour to keep them home and give them hope.
Thank you, John.
You're most welcome.